Old-fashioned marketing, take one. Take a big deep breath.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Marketing, where we blend the timeless nostalgia and classic elegance of old fashions with witty repertoire about marketing.
It's a little formal, huh? Not the formal route.
Well, either way, welcome to Old Fashioned Marketing. Cheers, Raj.
I'm good with it. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Andrea-Lechner Becker, and this is Raja Walia. Do you always introduce yourself as Raja, or do you ever go full name?
No, I haven't gone full name for a while. Probably during social studies in high school where no one could pronounce it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Really scarred you.
Yeah, my full name is Gagandeep Singh Ahluwalia. I go by Raj, which is one letter off of Raja, just because Raj is a lot easier to pronounce sometimes as well. It just makes more sense. Makes the conversation flow a little bit better.
Yeah. And this is the name of your company.
Yeah.
In case people are like, now I know Raja probably starts with an R, and your company name starts with a G. What is going on? It is his actual name.
Well, the only way I came up with the company name was because I was having an old-fashioned, and I decided to start the company, and I didn't know what to call it.
Ah.
So, I have a giant lion tattoo.
So you're super creative. You're like, what should I call it? What should I call it?
I picked
I know.
first initial of my name, my wife's first initial of my wife's name, and our
Right.
last name as G&W, and I just put consulting at the end of it.
Right.
And the entire lion thing is because I have a giant lion tattoo.
Nice. Well, there you have it. Is there anything else about your background that maybe the people should know besides how you named your company? What do you guys do? Let's start there.
Yeah, no, so I'm not a big fan of intros, just mainly
Yeah, they
because
suck, right?
Yeah, it's just, I think there's a lot of stake on having the perfect intro, and then that sets up your credibility. But to be very blunt about intros, I've been in consulting for my entire life. I've never had a in-house job or an in-person job. I've done, work for various consulting firms throughout my entire lifespan, from strategy to operations, which is what I live and breathe by. I love marketing operations. But yeah,
Who doesn't? Who doesn't love marketing operations?
Sales and finance. No, but like I said, for 15 years, I've been helping companies doing the strategic, either from a strategy perspective of what is your go-to-market strategy? How do we make it happen? What tech stack do you actually need compared to the shiny bells and whistles that people kind of tell you that you need, right?
Right.
Because when we first started, long story short, Andrea and I have known each other.
Let's tell them the story about how we met, Raja.
Yeah. So Andrea was, when this one agency was there, I met you because you were the third or fourth employee, I want to say, at Lead MD.
Yep.
And that was my first marketing gig, actually, with at Lead MD. And then you came in and you used to sell dog pictures. And I was
Paintings,
dog paintings. And she should market dog paintings. And I was like, she's the perfect resource for a digital marketing operations company. But yeah, that's when we met.
Yeah. So it was, first of all, because I was sales and marketing at the art gallery that I worked at. So I was the epitome of sales and marketing alignment because it was all in my brain.
And also, you have to be very unconventional, right? It's very easy, in my opinion, to sell software. Like I said, I've helped companies sell software. I've helped them sell, I worked for Jenny Craig for a little bit as a consultant, which,
it's not the right demographic fit. I wouldn't say the target audience was correct. Well, yeah, I think it worked out a little bit. But from companies
that are Fortune 500 companies, I ran Small Business Saturday from a marketing automation perspective for a little bit for American Express. And even saying these names are just kind of weird because it's all validation, right? Why should someone trust you? Oh, you worked at American Express compared to you sold something that is obsolete. But, back during the marketing operations and consulting days when we first started, it was actually marketing consulting, and now it's tech consulting.
Yeah.
And which is very, very different, right? Which is very different from true marketing consulting.
And I'll have you know, I didn't even know what marketing automation was when I started.
Because there wasn't a thing.
I only knew about it as ESPs. So I had worked at the Phoenix Suns and we used Eloqua. And I thought Eloqua was an email service provider, not a marketing, this whole idea of MAP. I was like, what does that even mean? I also came from B2C, to your point. So I worked at an art gallery, a telecommunications company, and a sports entertainment, the Phoenix Suns. And so in my interview, Justin was like, tell me how you convert landing page traffic. And I was like, what is a landing page? I didn't even know any of the verbiage or the words that anyone was using in B2B marketing. So your skepticism that who is this lady who sells dog paintings and how is she going to help our agency was totally warranted.
Well, 6 months prior to when you started, I interviewed with Macias at that time, and I brought a graphic design portfolio with my drawings of weird, like digital anime characters, and I got hired because that's how far marketing automation and MAP has come. MAP wasn't even a word back then.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
what do we call ourselves? Like marketing
We were
services managers?
Yes, yes.
And we were level 1 and level 2, like MSMs, which didn't even make any sense. I feel like that was a play
it's
on
almost like Justin's imagination. You know?
I feel like that was like more of a play on like customer service managers.
Yeah.
We just put M at the front of it.
Yeah.
So
So we like grew up in marketing automation together. And how did we work together for like not even a year? Was it even a year?
It was a year. It was a year before I, went to a different company, and then I started consulting with, the American Expresses of the world.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted that. At that time, I thought I wanted like the enterprise corporate level type of experience, and I realized like they're way more, in the fucking weeds. Can we cuss? All right, cool.
It is a good point though. Swear warning.
Yeah.
We should put because it's part of my brand, but I don't know if it's necessarily a part of yours.
It's a good amount of it. It's
okay,
at this point.
So,
this point in the age.
If you listen to this and on the speakerphone or whatever,
I have 3 kids. I wouldn't recommend playing it on audio.
Totally, yeah. Don't listen to it in the
AirPods,
car.
Pixel Buds, whatever Bose headphones that you have, I would recommend that for sure.
So so let's wrap up your
intro.
Your intro. Yeah.
Yeah. So after working,
this is how much we hate it. We're just like avoiding it as much as possible.
Because it's just such a funny topic. Like does it give someone more prowess?
Dance for me, monkey.
Yeah.
Tell me how interesting and important you are and why I should care. But have you ever in your whole life listened to a podcast and the start is an intro and you're like, well, now I definitely have to listen. What? They spent 4 years at Quick Trip? Now I'm interested. Like, nobody cares.
I don't even do that.
Be smart, Raja.
I don't even listen to like intros of like albums from like Drake. Like that's like I know.
If Drake can't impress you with an intro.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, if for everyone that's listening in and like tuning in or whatever, however people are realizing and listening to us.
However, we're entering your brain right now. That's right.
So currently I'm the CEO owner of a marketing operations agency. We specialize in marketing operations consulting from a strategic level of like, why do you need a piece of technology? Because when we first started, we didn't know what to call it. And now there's so much of it, we have to figure out, why do you want it? And do you just want it because it's a silver shiny thing that someone has told you about it? So it's a 2-part. The strategy part is, how do you implement a piece of technology to solve problems for your company versus just implementing technology to implement technology and then onboarding it and a year later offboarding it when your marketing budget gets hit. And I think that's a big difference with it, right? But that's the most recent thing, right? So started a company, that's what it's focused on.
How long has it been in business? When did you start
5 years. 2018, so like 6 months before my son was born.
Okay.
So 2018 is when we started it.
A lot of change.
Yeah. With the kid or like the...
Yeah. The whole thing, like a lot of life stuff.
Well, the funniest part about it is because I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm going to quit my job where I get a salary and health insurance.
Right.
I understand you're pregnant, but I'm definitely going to start my own company at this moment in time. And you're cool with it. And my wife was like, listen, if you're not going to do it now, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, there's never a great time to do something like that, I feel like. You got to just take the leap. Yeah.
So, it started in 2018. We've been in business for a while. We've been, growing. We have various clients. If people like name dropping, we have the NASDAQs of the world. And if you don't, then, we have a lot of
Raja
other cool
loves
companies.
all of his clients.
I do. I know every single one of our clients. I at least attend 1 call per month for all of our clients, just because when I first started the company, I was the person that was consulting them. And as we grew and we got more people involved into it, then I Homer Simpsoned into the bushes out off a few of these accounts. But at the same time, I still like to talk to them, see how everything is working out. Now, I mean, is that an intro? Is that a good intro?
I think that's a great intro.
Okay.
We're going to move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing here on old-fashioned marketing is we are obviously drinking old fashions and we're talking about marketing. Now, one of the things that I think you excel at is your contrarian opinions about just well-held beliefs that make no fucking sense. And then also your analogies are always spot on.
Like the Homer Simpson in the bush thing?
It was very good. Yes.
You transition off of accounts, if anyone's wondering. You just Homer Simpson into the bushes out,
right,
and that's it.
And so I wanted to ask you, what's your biggest pet peeve in B2B marketing right now?
Oh man, there's so many. I think it stems from the same place, right? It stems from the idea of strategy taking the forefront of what is possible. And if we talk about RevOps, we talk about ABM, which are kind of like the two hottest things right now. And actually ABM isn't. Like ABM has had a downfall. It's not in anymore.
It's not?
Yeah, it's not in anymore.
What do ABM managers have to say about that? I feel like they are not very excited about that.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, when I say in, I mean, if you look at feeds on LinkedIn, if you look at like the top 10 Google searches for marketing trends, ABM is on there because AI has taken over, right?
Right, okay.
But then once again, it goes right back into the strategic item of like, what can really AI do? Like on the drive here to record this thing, there was a vending machine that says now powered by AI. What is it that you're actually trying to do? And what is the outcome that you're trying to get to?
Sure.
And when we talk about ABM, it's kind of the same way, right? Like ABM is a really cool fucking strategy, right? You hone in on target accounts that are similar to accounts that you want, and then you highlight what made that happen. Like one of the campaigns we ran for someone is a very, very simple email marketing campaign. We said, during the vendor selection process, this company chose us, and this is why. And we sent that to 10 accounts that they wanted to say. So we removed vendor selection from their mindset. We said, hey, another company similar to yours already went through this process. This is why they chose us.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool concept about ABM. However,
but I mean, I do think too, like back to the theme of this is like, that's just good old fashioned marketing. Like there's nothing about, hey, I really think that this customer is great. How do I find more customers like that? Like ABM is just a term that literally people just created to say the exact same concept and strategy that has been around forever.
And then they took it one step further and they said, hey, we can't do ABM because our data sucks. So now we're going to have ABM Lite. And what is ABM Lite? Well, it's
I don't know. Can I have an old fashioned light?
No.
You can't.
You can't have old fashioned light
because
you would have to either remove the liquor or the orange slice or the cherry. Maybe the ice, but then who the hell wants a warm old fashioned?
Right. You can't light things.
But ABM Lite is, hey, we don't know our the accounts that we want to target. So we're just going to pick some accounts that we want. And generally in the consulting world, what we've always seen is people want Microsoft, like Google, like here's the thing.
Here's the thing. If I could just get the Fortune 10 to be my customers, I would have a real profitable business. Yeah.
I run a marketing operations agency based around a marketing op tech stack. If Google said, Raj, can you make some freaking Google pens for me? I would drop ship that shit in like 5 minutes, of course. And then I would put it on my, put it on the website,
Google's a client.
Google's a client, link Fluencer it up and say, hey, Google had a problem.
How I landed Google in 18 days. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, right? Of course you want the Googles. Of course you want the Microsofts. Because the problem is that people want to implement strategy, but they don't want to do the work that's necessary for that strategy to succeed. And then you create other versions of that strategy that fit your organization. Programmatic is programmatic ABM is 1 to 5,000 or something accounts. Like it's just fucking marketing at that point, right? It's like just broadcast cold marketing. So when we talk about strategy in today's world, and the reason this is old-fashioned marketing is because when we first started, you really had to know marketing chops. The fact that you sold the fact that you sold dog paintings and did the sales, that mindset of how do we target people that want this specific thing, I don't think is unique anymore. And I think it's more tech consulting, because people will tell you the best practices of a technology, not how technology fits into your organization, or if it fits into your organization, because we do services on it. So if you don't have that piece of technology, how am I going to sell you services? But no, you need this thing. Trust me, you need. No, I need this thing. I need this thing. I have a rainbow colored Tesla. I really need to get them. You need this technology. So, and that's why I kind of found the company, is that I like consulting. I've always loved consulting, and the strategy part of it is just as important as the technical. It cannot be separate.
Yeah. All right. So, because you know how thought leadership is, Raj.
Unfortunately, yes.
You know how everyone is like, oh, ABM is dead, or it's the best thing ever. So like, what pushback do you get on your whole, like, listen, ABM is as old as time, focus on the strategy, focus on how you implement it, don't invest in technology, choose to invest in it. Like, what is your pushback to people that are like, ABM, what is the zealots?
The naysayers or the zealots?
No, the zealots who like love it. Their title is ABM manager. Raja, what would you say?
Well, I mean, you have to, right? If your title is ABM anything, like an events coordinator is going to want to do events, and events are the greatest thing ever. Why? Because that is part of their title.
Yeah.
The reality of technology and what technology has provided us to do is to say that if something works or if something doesn't work, and technology makes that easier.
Mm-hmm.
However, if we're saying that a person is asking, or a person is saying like ABM is great or ABM is not great for whatever reasons, I would also say, like, how are you relating it to your overall revenue? Like, what revenue has that generated?
Yeah.
Right? Because we talk about this a lot in just in general, not even like on this thing, but like the concept and
We're
the idea.
Very revenue focused.
Yeah.
Our friendship is very revenue focused.
Yeah, that's why we like to expense drinks and do these things, right? No. But like, ABM light, programmatic ABM, ABM one to many, one to few, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's the same exact thing. They have less return than regular ABM strategy. And ABM and regular.
What does that mean though?
Like, so.
Oh, you mean
like,
light and programmatic have less return than just committing
to the actual ABM strategy. Like, the idea behind ABM is very good. We call it marketing because we're old. That's perfectly fine. It's like strategic marketing, sure. But, the idea behind taking accounts that are not Microsoft, that's not Google, that's not like, Nest or some shit, and you want to target similar like accounts that have closed. Like, look at your opportunities. Like, look at the data. Like, follow the trail that the data leads to. If you ran a report in any CRM about the last 10 opportunities you closed, I guarantee it's not going to be Microsoft and Google.
Yeah.
What are those doppelganger or similar accounts? That's who you should be targeting.
And how do you find them?
In Salesforce, like look at like in your.
Well, you're looking in Salesforce.
Yeah, in CRM,
you're doing a query.
Look at opportunities that you're closing, and what question or what problem are you solving?
Yeah.
Right, and we did that a lot back during the LeadMD days. Is that what is the problem that you're trying to solve for the consumer? Why would they choose you? Right, it's like speed dating.
Yeah, and there were a lot of like interesting takeaways from that at LeadMD, because you have the added additional element of you have to work with these humans. So it's kind of interesting. I always thought it was weird because you're sort of interviewing for a job with these clients, even though they're paying you. You want to make sure that they're a good fit for your vibe and your culture. And you get really interesting takeaways. And we did this exercise way back in the day where we didn't just look at the companies, even because we were an agency, we looked at the mentality of the CMO, the mentality of, did they invest in certain job titles on their team? And all of those kinds of things were the more impactful thing, rather than just revenue, employee size, industry, the things that people really pay attention to.
Or PowerPoint presentations. If people want, like in the modern day, in 2024, if people really want long drawn out PowerPoint presentations, I can tell you right now, like that is not a good fit for my business because we do not do like we do.
Because you get shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like the GSD methodology, aka get shit done methodology,
Yeah.
has been the baseline of ever since we first started, back when you didn't have tools or softwares that could do everything. Like I remember batch sending BCC 25 cap Outlook emails with an HTML email loaded before the constant contacts.
That doesn't even sound like English.
So, yeah. So before technology existed, you had to do email marketing.
Yeah.
So what you would do is you would blind carbon copy people at a cap of 25 people in Outlook, the same email every single time. But now
I never did that.
really no.
No.
Wow. And oh yeah, I mean
No,
I did.
used
I
Constant
did.
Contact. That was my like first, like, oh, this is how I just email 2,000 people.
I did it before Constant Contact came to market.
Yeah.
So
But the bottom line is GNW, GSDs.
GSDs, yeah, get your stuff.
Let's do a ABM acronym
Acronyms.
download.
Let's do an acronym download.
Yes.
Because acronyms in the MarTech space are ridiculous.
They're insane. Okay, so ABM, account-based marketing.
Account-based marketing.
ABM Lite. What is the definition of ABM Lite?
Account-based marketing, a lighter version of that.
So what kinds of things would fall out of classically big ABM into ABM Lite?
So you have, so people call it one of two things. Like it's one to few.
Okay.
So ABM, account-based marketing, is one-to-one.
Yes,
Meaning that you
okay.
market to one account or similar like accounts in your top 5, top 10 list.
Yes.
One to few is kind of like an ABM Lite. Like
Okay.
one to few is like one to
Let's
a
take this
few
industry.
of the accounts. Yeah,
Let's take
correct.
this industry
Manufacturing.
and we'll pick 50, 500. How many is Lite? Like, is it like 100 accounts?
It's really up to the person at that
Okay.
point. Like after you get out of the whole
One-to-one.
actual strategy,
Yeah,
it's really like whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Right? Like programmatic and one-to-many is just that. It's let's just broadcast a message to multiple
That sounds
accounts.
like brand though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's brand marketing. Like, you know, it's at that point, like you're just marketing and you're calling it one to many. We're doing ABM, account-based marketing, one to many, meaning that this one account is what we want and we're going to broadcast it to whoever, many accounts that essentially that they are.
Okay.
And the people call it programmatic. They call it one to many. Or an ABM Lite is just that. It's a lighter version of the original strategy.
Yeah. It's just less good.
Yeah. And that's why it has less returns. That's why the original strategy is better. And that's what you should try to achieve for in strategy, right?
Right.
Strategy is what defines what marketing I wouldn't say what defines, it tailors what marketing operations has to do.
Yeah.
But if you water down the strategy, then you're going to expect less and less returns. And then people ask, well, why are we not getting the same amount of returns? Because you're not doing ABM. Like you're not doing the actual strategy that it
You're not
calls for.
committing.
Yeah. You're just doing a version of it that you can do, and that's it.
So I mentioned that I didn't know what MA or MAP was. MA, marketing automation, and then marketing automation platform, and then ESP is...
You thought Eloqua was an ESP.
Well, it is. It's an email service provider. All MAs are really ESPs. It's like a umbrella term for like the thing. I think, or it's just older, you know, but I think it's also just like the size of the company that you work for. If you work for, I think like a really big company, I think
You're talking about like a traditional company, right? Because like a lot of our manufacturing clients and a lot of like EDU spaces, sometimes we'll call it an ESP, even though it's like a HubSpot, Marketo, whatever.
Or like retail, right? Like a Chick-fil-A. I think you have a group of people who are just dealing with email, that they're just focused on the ESP versus...
I think they just call it email marketing.
Yes, and that too, because that was my job title. I was email marketing. There was some word, coordinator? I think I was a coordinator. Big time.
I was an email, back when I worked at Verizon Wireless right out of college, I was an email communication coordinator.
See?
Because email
now look at this.
Had to identify as a communication.
Two coordinators, like less than 20 years later, running shit and retired.
You're retired?
Yes.
Oh.
What do you think? Why do you think I had time to fucking shoot the shit with you here?
That's true.
I don't have a job. I'm just hanging out.
Did you want to order actual food, by the way?
Do I need food?
I mean, I'm saying that you need food. I'm saying, would you like to order food?
Are you asking me because you want something to eat? Because Jake always complains about that. I'm like, hey, would you want to get the pretzels? And he's like, do you want the pretzels? And you just want it to be my idea.
Well, no, I just looked at the menu
you
and I thought the pretzels would be the easiest. Like, do you really want pork belly nachos in front of us?
No, I don't eat pork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretzels or, whipped feta and tahini dip. I'm pretty sure
That
you
does
want.
sound pretty good, actually. But let's do the pretzels.
Yeah, let's do the pretzels.
Do you have any final thoughts on ABM, or have we officially beat this horse to death?
The only thing that I would say,
That's a terrible saying.
the horse beating thing?
Yeah.
It's actually worse than skin a cat.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worse than skin a cat because I worked for a company that did like antibiotics for animals, and I said that's the best way to skin a cat on a call as a consultant. That did not end well for me. That was a very bad thing. That's a bad analogy. So ever since then, I don't say that. I say it's like, like rolling a rock uphill. No?
No, I mean,
Okay, cool.